Hey everyone, welcome back to The Boring Life. This is episode 9, and we are covering the week of May 27th, 2019 to June 2nd, 2019. And so, if you are new, or if you're returning, I'll still remind you this is a vlog, audio slash. It's a documentary on what it's like in a week of an entrepreneur in entrepreneurship, and just really just my journey of just trying to build this vision, this platform of mine, and documenting what it actually is like every week, the kind of stuff that happens, and the reality of how boring it really is. Like, to give you an idea of how boring it is, every day is the exact same for me. Every morning I get out of bed, I leave the house, and I go do my morning pages. I have a whole journaling routine that's about 30 minutes long. And then I have a 2 hour creativity hour. And that's when I read, write, and think, because I have to continuously pump out 4 pieces of media content every week. So that just doesn't, come out of my ass. I have to work hard at it. And yeah, I have a very boring diet. I eat the same thing every day for lunch, more like every day for about 5 out of 7 days. I usually eat at the same time. I go to the gym I lift heavy at the gym, so powerlifting training 4 times a week, and then I do cardio training 2 to 3 times a week. And yes, I have a very boring life. I live a lot of the same things constantly. I just have a constant routine, and nothing very majorly, fantastically amazing happens. Hence, it's boring. But the idea is that by the end of this 10-year journey, and then the 10 year after that, that interesting stuff will pop out that people will go, oh my god, I'm so jealous. But all that stuff is made because of all the boring stuff I do. So let's go through here. I'm just looking on my laptop today. The monitors, it was just so. Last week I tried having the monitor project out the kind of stuff that happened this week as a recap, but it was just too much. So I'm on my laptop. And so the big thing. Oh, there's a lot of things, but I have a lot of wires. Big thing is, ta-da! Yes, I have stickers. I bought stickers, and I also got thank you cards. So they have my logo on it, and they also have my logo on it. Yes. So that's super cool. And then I got a whole bunch of stickers. Ooh. So I am super excited about that. That just arrived in the mail. It was actually very quick. It arrived within the week because I designed it. I just ordered it, and yeah. Oh, special thanks to my brother. My brother built or designed and made this logo for me and made it all transparent so I can post it on cards and stuff. I don't know how it all works, but thanks Mike for doing that for me. Mike's my brother. And because we hit the new month, so my previous habit of the month was to not eat pastries. I was successful in the entire month other than 2 separate occasions. And so I celebrated June 1st by eating a lot of pastries. But I am hoping that kind of habit thing kind of wears over, where I will just not be eating it as much and not give in to my cravings as frequently. But the new habit of the month for June is to make an entry every day into my relationship journal. So I have a separate Excel sheet that tracks all the relationships I'm building, quote unquote networking. But it's just one where I think in the last year I've sent more than 400 emails, and it's really hard to keep track of all that stuff, especially when I'm just doing it by myself and I'm trying to run a lot of different things at the same time. So I kept on trying to build up this dashboard, this kind of process for maintaining relationships, because I want to catch up with other people too, and sometimes I forget because I'm just meeting people constantly, and then time just flies by, and I go, oh my god, I haven't seen you in a year, and I've repeatedly had that happen. So I wanted to really kind of decide, okay, maybe I'll set it aside as a habit where every day I'll fill it up. So if I made a sent an email out, I will make an update today, and maybe if I keep on doing it for 30 days, for 30 days straight, it'll become a habit, and it'll be second nature, so then I can actually keep better track of my relationships with people. So that's something that I'll work on for this month of June. And I'm also very excited because I'm going to be in Vancouver in the end of June, or just before the end of June, just to see my family. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It's also part of my quarterly offsite for myself to take a break. I still plan to do all these vlogs. If you are the few number of people who watch it, thank you for that. But yes, I plan to do it, and maybe let's see some nice Vancouver scenery when I do it too. My girlfriend and I also booked a trip to Europe for the September October period so we're going to Netherlands and Germany so that we can really hit it up for the Oktoberfest period. So very excited for that. And this will be our first time in both countries, and it's also the trip for my next quarterly offsite. And it's just this idea that I've had where I'm just going to book all my trips. Like, there's no point constantly saying, "Oh, I'll do it when I get this. I'll do it when I get this." I'm just gonna do all the stuff I want to do and live my, quote unquote retired millionaire life. Why the fuck not, right? So that's something I've been constantly being more cognizant in doing, where I actually book time off in my calendar for the things I said I would do, because I should do what I want to do. I mean, why would I not do it? If you don't do it, then you don't really want to do it. Then that's fine. Just don't bitch about it. And so that's my little rant, but that's what I'm going to do. And so this week's been relatively not as, I guess, intense in terms of developments as previous weeks. Like, I think previously in previous episodes I talked about new developments, like interviews I was having, as well as like conversations. And this was the week where it's like the roller coaster ride where you like, I had the high of everyone's responding, people are replying, they're interested, oh, they care, and then, oh, where did they all go? It's just, oh, no one's responding, and people want to kind of postpone things, and like, yeah. So that's been a little upsetting. It's been upsetting. It sucks. It sucks because I feel like there's all this momentum, and I feel like things are all gonna happen, and then meetings get pushed back weeks, months. I finally got in contact again with the company out in Europe. It's a startup out in Europe that also focuses on human behavior. So I'm finally gonna meet the CEO next week. It's just a virtual call, but we've been trying to schedule this call for 4 months. No, actually, it's more like 6 months. So it's been nearly half a year of us trying to schedule this call. And I also learned that two of my friends work in this European business, and so I just caught up with one this week, and we hadn't seen each other in like 5 years, and so that was a fun, or actually more like 4 years, and so that was a fun time catching up and learning more about the business, and it's very fascinating. It's very much catered towards people who want to be behavioral economists and who want to do work in that field, and so it kind of matched up really well with kind of research work that I want to do. So that was a very big highlight. I also unofficially agreed to be an advisor for a media startup, and so that's something that was very exciting for me because I really admire what the founder is doing, and I love the guy's energy. And although I'm very much focused on creating what I'm creating right now, I wanted to see how I could help out. And so I think potentially we might forge some kind of advisor relationship, which is really exciting. And so it's also my first time being asked to be an advisor for a startup. So that's also very exciting for me. So I'm hoping that kind of goes through. And I also had a relatively fascinating conversation with a media production company. And so when I say production company, like they make TV shows, and they also, it's more of a holding co. They mainly make TV shows, but they do a bunch of other stuff like talent management, and they own restaurants and coffee shops and stuff as well. So that was very exciting. I just really enjoyed learning about that business itself, and it it just got me very excited. No particular, I think, like, relation to the kind of human capital or development stuff that I'm currently working on, but I've also realized from doing all this, I really enjoy media. I find media very fascinating, and so that's something where we're talking of maybe there's a potential opportunity when we'll partner up and do more work together on. So that was a very fun chat that I really enjoyed. Like, I got to meet the, like, upper management VP individual who was also a very nice person, and so that was really cool. I did my first yoga class this week, so that was fascinating. Fascinating in that uh, I'd never done one before. I'd done one in high school, and but this was the first time I just went to the Good Life Studios. Just went in and followed along. They were very fast, so I had to constantly crane my neck to try to, like, do all the positions. But I think it worked. I feel somewhat flexible, but it's something I want to continuously think about doing and really incorporating into my training routine as well. I really want to work on my flexibility as well, so that's something I'm trying to get more into the habit of. And I also, this weekend, the my potential partner to set up a investment fund came to Toronto, and so we met up for the first time, and we've been talking for the last 5 months or so, and so it was the first time we actually met in person, and so that was really cool. And I think I'm gonna have to sign another NDA for that. So now I'll be signing two NDAs, and so I'm getting slightly more careful on the things I can talk about. That's why I'm just not saying specific names of anything or anyone, just because I just don't want to get implicated in anything. Yeah, I'm just being very, like, it's not my style. I like being overly honest to the detriment of my own career most of the times, but I think I'm just erring on the side of safety now with legal documents being signed. But yeah, so I know it's a little harder for you guys to keep up with all the stuff I talk about. Um, but, you know, bear with me until, I don't know, I start finalizing things. I'm not sure. Like, a lot of this shit's just constantly just happening, and new opportunities come up, and existing opportunities sometimes just fade away. Like, I'm still waiting on replies from other people that said, "Oh yeah, let's do research together, let's work together," and no reply back. Or, like, I'm still continuously on this consulting engagement for this one startup company, and it's not really even a consulting engagement because I'm getting severely underpaid. It's rather more like a goodwill thing that they're doing, and we're just talking through it, and I'm just building this project out for them. And in my mind, I'm also wondering, is this really going to go somewhere? Are they very serious? Like, I enjoy this kind of work, but is this going to become anything? So there's all that kind of questioning that constantly pops up, and it's also very frustrating because, I've in the grand scheme of things, it hasn't been that long of a journey. It's only been a year, like year and a half. For anyone, it's short. Any entrepreneur is short, and but a year and a half to actually really go around convincing people is really hard. And, like, I think I've sent more than 400, 500 emails now, and I've met more than 120 people, 120, 30 people, and that's translated down to like 5 opportunities. So that's something like, what, a 1% hit rate, and it can be severely unmotivating, and that's the hard stuff. That's the hard stuff that I feel like I have to go through, and it's just, you get through it. You have to. I have to get through it, because if not, then it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Go back into management consulting, and I don't know. Like for me at this point, it's like no, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine myself doing that again. Like maybe if I'm really desperate for money, I will. Uh, like I caught up with my consulting buddies, and it's just I can't. I think that's the weird part where it's this weird feeling of knowing like you can't. It's you go to these jobs and you leave it and you tell yourself these are options, but they really aren't. Like you don't want it to be an option, and so you treat it like it isn't an option. And I think that it's like the burning of the boats thing, and that's something I feel like you just have to go through. I don't know, I'm just rambling, but it's kind of, I think that's kind of shows you the state of my mind right now. It's constantly confused. There are no answers. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. I talk to people and nobody knows what the hell's going on. But yeah, that's just how it is. So yeah. What else happened this week? I'm reading Dan Ariely's book, Predictably Rational. I am more than 2/3 of the way done. I am actually going to be speaking with him this coming Friday. So I want to be well prepared for a conversation. So that's something I'm prepping for. And the podcast episodes that went out, this was really cool. It's a really fun, like culture-based one that I really loved, just because it just hits my spot on the travel side. It's with Marcus Rader, who's the co-founder of Hostaway, and he's a Finnish entrepreneur. And so we talk a lot about the culture in Finland versus Canada and what it's like to build a global company. Like his company has offices in Barcelona, Toronto, Finland, I think also in Russia as well. And like his engineers like dispersed throughout Europe. And so that's a really fun conversation that I had. And Marcus has lived in a bunch of places in Europe, and so we also talk about the differences between various European cultures as well, which is really fun. And the essay I wrote was called "Most Who Wander Are Lost," and it's about how like the neglected question is, do you know where you are, and why are you wandering? Because people get a lot of people get this tattoo that not all those who wander are lost, and it's the Tolkien quote, the J.R.R. Tolkien quote, from one of his books, and people keep on like plastering it all over hostels and getting around their like bodies and making it a fucking Facebook status, but it's like, yeah, I don't think they really even know that the quote even came from Tolkien or what he really implied with that, and most people just use it as a crutch and an excuse to just dick around and not know what the fuck they're doing or not have any idea of where they really are, or even have any kind of self-awareness of who they are. And it's just kind of it's an essay just like bitching about these people. So if you want to read something like that, I would highly encourage it. And on the health aspect, everything's good. End of the not eating pastry habit, so now I might start eating pastries again slowly, but I'm super excited for that. Fasted all 7 days. I was on a 19-day meditation streak. That's the longest I've been on, I think, and that ended, but I'm trying to be okay with it. Like I don't want to fall in for the gamification. I want to meditate because I want to meditate, and I don't want to make this into a competition and be sucked into that tragedy. So I'm trying to be more mindful of that. It's funny. It's like you're trying to be mindful but of your mindfulness practice. But that's what I think type A people have to struggle with. Oh well, no, so I cut my hair. I've been cutting my own hair for the last 5 years. No. 7 years since second year university. I started cutting my own hair. And yeah, saves a ton of money. But yeah, that is all for this week. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the lifting videos that come up after. This way, that way, I don't know. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.